Нас ждет успех! Да!
Russian President Vladimir Putin thanking the crowd after his victory at the polls. We will take a closer look at what his re-election means for Russia and for the world. Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. It was far from being a nail-biter. Russian President Vladimir Putin easily won Sunday's election with nearly 77% of the vote. Already the country's longest-serving leader since Joseph Stalin, he will lead Russia until 2024. From Moscow, Aljosa Milenkovic tells us the story of how Putin won his fourth term as president.
Smiles and cheers on the faces of the young volunteers at the Putin election campaign headquarters. But the atmosphere wasn't ecstatic at all, most likely because everybody, not just his supporters, expected Putin to win. And when the Russian president appeared here, he didn't fuel the euphoric fire. Instead, he warned of tough times ahead and emphasized the need for unity regardless of political affiliation. In the next 6 years, he expects a lot of support from his election team too.
I would like for our team to be preserved for the next few years so we could effectively work for the benefit and in the name of Russia. Thank you very much.
Earlier that day, we spoke to a number of voters after they cast their ballots at a polling station in central Moscow.
I voted for our president, Vladimir Putin, and for our future. I expect some changes for the better. Putin seems to be optimistic. We trust him, so we will just work on it.
I voted for Putin. What we expect is more stability and better life. Talking about stability, I mean mostly international relations. We also expect that our government would pay more attention to inner economic problems instead of concentration on the global situation.
Some were unhappy, not just with the results, but with the campaign itself. Pavel Grudinin, candidate of the Communist Party of Russia, claimed the elections were not fair and labeled them as the dirtiest ones in the post-Soviet era. Pro-Western opposition leader Alexei Navalny, who was banned from participating in the elections and who called for its boycott, claims the only way to fight authorities is through mass protests. The overwhelming majority of Russian voters opted for 6 more years of President Putin. In the face of worsening tensions with the West and with living standards improving at a snail's pace, many feel keeping Putin in power means stability. That's something people who went through the chaos and the turbulences of 1990s cherish the most. Aljosa Milenkovic, CGTN, signing off from in front of the walls of the Kremlin.